A pro day for July 10th at a Dallas area high school. We have an excellent squad put together to talk about this today. Jordan can break down how good the player is, and Mike Tannenbaum can take us inside the way teams are thinking. But we start with you, Shefty, my information man extraordinaire. What have you been hearing from the league and around the league about this supplemental draft?
Well, Greeny, Brendan Sorsby applied for the NFL supplemental draft Tuesday. We are still waiting for an official ruling from NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell that there will, in fact, be a supplemental draft this year. Now, Brendan Sorsby is waiting for that announcement and memo to go out across the league to teams that explains the rules of what would be the upcoming supplemental draft and when exactly it would be held, presumably in late July, with Sorsby planning to work out, actually give away their first-round draft pick, then to bid on a player now. But starting in round 2, a lot of people believe that would be the spot where the speculation and the interest would begin, and Sorsby could go anywhere from round 2 and on.
Okay, so now we dive into just how good the player is. Jordan, you put together an excellent tape. For the fans who haven't seen it, just how good is this quarterback?
Well, he's a first-round talent. I think he would have been the third quarterback off the board behind Mendoza and Simpson if he was in the draft this year. So you're going to get a bargain in the supplemental draft, in my opinion, because his traits are elite. The guy that can change the trajectory and the pace of football, of the throw. And I was in a quarterback room with Zach Taylor, who's the head coach of the Bengals now. He was my quarterback coach in Miami. He sat there with Ryan Tannehill and Matt Moore and myself and said, I can go find guys on the street that can throw it harder and further than you. That's not playing quarterback. Playing quarterback is changing the trajectory, seeing the defense, matching the throw to what the defense is giving you, and that's maybe what Sorsby does the best. Okay, so high praise. And I've had others tell me they think that he might have got ahead of Ty Simpson this year. So somewhere in that vicinity. So Mike T, take me inside. You've repeatedly used the word non-obvious teams. To take me inside how you would handle this. If you're a general manager, depending on your circumstance, how would you handle the pursuit of Brendan Sorsby?
It's an unexpected opportunity, especially for a good team that's going to project to draft late in a round. You know, we mentioned Seattle last hour. How about a team like Detroit or Philadelphia, where they're going to be at the bottom of the second round in April of 2027, barring something unforeseen? That's why I think some good organizations are going to be proactive, be aggressive, and say this is an unexpected opportunity that we could take advantage of. And
in fact, there are a lot of teams that have used fairly high picks on quarterbacks in recent years that you're telling me, Mike, he's better than. He's the Jets, for example. All my Jet fan friends are telling me we should do this. The Jets drafted Cade Klubnik. I can see you. Go ahead, Mike T. He's a better prospect than that, right?
Absolutely. And Jordan did a great job breaking it down. But look, last year he averaged 9.1 air yards per throw, so he could get the ball down the field. He also had 9 rushing touchdowns at 6'3". So he's a good athlete with good arm strength. And if he gets into the right system, look, he's going to have some suspension to deal with, Greeny. This will be a redshirt year. But if you believe in quarterback development, and let's say with the Jets, Frank Reich, and say, hey, what will we have by next summer? His upside is extremely intriguing.
And that's what I want to ask you, Shefty, is to what, if any, information do the teams have about how the league will handle this? A, will they grant the supplemental draft? And then B, what, if anything, do they know about the potential discipline that the player will face based upon the conduct in college?
Well, first of all, the NCAA has said that there were no integrity of the game violations. He was betting on his team while they were on the road, and he was back in his freshman dorm. And so every team will be left to figure that out. And yes, there may be discipline at the NFL level, but it's not like a team is drafting Brendan Sorsby this year and counting on him stepping into the lineup and saving their season and starting games. He is somebody that this organization, whoever decides to draft him, would look to develop long term. And so any sort of discipline that would come along this year would be incidental to the long range potential that he could bring to a franchise.
Jordan, finish it up for me here. What else do people need to know?
Yeah, I think he's got a higher ceiling than Mendoza and Simpson. I don't mean that he's a better player now. Both of those guys were drafted because their floor is extremely high. They are pro-ready. But from a pure talent standpoint, arm ability and athletic ability, he's got a higher ceiling. Now, Mike T mentioned, he's got some things he's got to clean up, and I think he will. But if you drafted, you're Arizona, you drafted Carson Beck, the Steelers who drafted Drew Aller, and the Jets who drafted Cade Klubnik, he's better than all those guys. Get a second or third round pick, take him, develop him. He can be a franchise guy.
Steelers Nation. This is the kind of rumor that makes you stop scrolling, because Pittsburgh might be looking at two completely different questions at the same time. How do you win right now? And who could be part of the future after Aaron Rodgers? And that is why the Rasul Douglas and Brendan Sorsby conversations are so interesting. Now, let's be clear from the jump. Rasul Douglas has not signed with the Steelers. Brendan Sorsby has not been selected by the Steelers. Nothing is official, nothing is confirmed. But both names matter for very different reasons. Rasul Douglas is about right now. He's the veteran corner who could walk into a secondary and bring experience, ball skills, communication, and toughness. And for a Steelers defense that wants to survive the AFC, that kind of player cannot be ignored. Because let's be honest, Steelers fans know how fast a season can change because of one busted coverage, one third and long, one missed communication, one moment where the pass rush wins, the quarterback panics, throws the ball up, and nobody finishes the play. That is where Douglas becomes interesting. You are not bringing him in to be the face of the defense. You are bringing him in to stabilize the room, compete for snaps, help the younger defensive backs, and give Patrick Graham another veteran option when the game gets tight. And with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig creating pressure, Pittsburgh needs defensive backs who can punish rush decisions. Pressure creates chaos, but the secondary has to turn that chaos into takeaways. That is the Rasul Douglas argument. But Brendan Sorsby, that is a completely different conversation. Sorsby is about the future, the mystery, the gamble, the quarterback question nobody in Pittsburgh can afford to ignore forever. Aaron Rodgers is here now, and that gives the Steelers a real chance to win now. But everybody knows this is not a 10-year plan at quarterback. Pittsburgh still has to think ahead. That is why Sorsby becomes fascinating. The transcript says NFL teams are intrigued because he has first-round talent, but it also makes clear there are serious concerns because of the gambling situation. That means any team looking at him has to ask hard questions. Can he mature? Can he handle the responsibility? Can the organization trust him? Is the talent worth the risk? And for the Steelers, the question becomes even bigger. Would Omar Khan use future draft capital on a risky quarterback prospect when Pittsburgh already has Drew Aller and Will Howard developing behind Rodgers? That is not a small decision, because the supplemental draft is not just take a flyer and move on. If you use a pick, you lose that pick in the next draft. So, Pittsburgh would need to believe Sorsby is more than just a name creating headlines. They would need to believe he could be part of the future. And that is where this gets wild. Rasul Douglas helps you win the next game. Brendan Sorsby might be a swing at the next era. One is about fixing the secondary. The other is about solving the quarterback future. And Steelers Nation, that is exactly why this moment feels important. Because smart teams do both. They protect the present without ignoring tomorrow. They do not wait until the roster has a hole to start searching for answers. They do not wait until the secondary collapses to add a veteran. They do not wait until the quarterback room becomes empty to study the next option. That is what separates aggressive front offices from reactive ones. So yes, Omar Khan should make the call on Rasul Douglas if the price makes sense. And yes, the Steelers should do their homework on Brendan Sorsby. Not because either move is guaranteed, not because either player is perfect, but because Pittsburgh is in a window where every decision matters. If Douglas can make the secondary more reliable, you explore it. If Sorsby has franchise-level talent and the organization believes the risk can be managed, you investigate it. But you do not sleep through either conversation, because in the AFC, hesitation gets punished. Baltimore is not waiting. Cincinnati is not waiting. Kansas City and Buffalo are not waiting. So why should Pittsburgh? Steelers Nation, I need to know where you stand. Would you rather see the Steelers add Rasul Douglas to strengthen the defense right now, or take a serious look at Brendan Sorsby as a risky but fascinating quarterback swing for the future? Because one move could help this team win in 2026. The other could change what Pittsburgh looks like after Rodgers. And if Omar Khan plays this right, the Steelers might protect the season and the future at the same time.